Let's go!
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Pace Pals. We have an incredible guest in store for you this week. We have Milo from GSA, one of the founders. The only founder? Are you a co-founder or the founder?
Co-founder for sure.
Co-founder of GSA. The entire reason for this podcast, when you think about it, without Milo, there's no GSA. There's no GSA, there's no Pace, and if there's no Pace, there's no Pace Pals. So we have a lot of thanks to give to Milo. We're stoked to have him on. Before I jump in, I just want to shout out your socials, and they'll be in the description below. Twitter at Milo GSA and at Global Speedrun for GSA, and then Twitch, twitch.tv/speedrun or twitch.tv/Milo GSA. Spoiler, Milo might be back to stream soon. Milo, how you doing today?
Oh yeah, hey, I'm so good. Yeah, really happy to be talking to you guys. Thanks for the intro, and thank you guys for doing the podcast. Like I was saying earlier, it's like flattering and just really cool that like an idea I had can like produce so many kind of side things, like experience for people and sorry, experiences for people and things people want to do. This is one of them. So it's just it's super cool that you guys care enough to and think it's cool enough to make a podcast about. So yeah, it's just great stuff. So thank you.
Of course.
Our
Wow,
pleasure.
twins.
It's been a lot of fun.
No, it's been a blast. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just, we get to watch Mario, talk Mario, and we get to like be our own little sports center basically. So it's pretty sweet. Zias, before we jump into how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm definitely excited to talk to Milo and just kind of like pick his brain about, GSA and Pace and events in general, because I'm a TO. I'm interested in hosting events and like organizing stuff. So definitely a great person to talk to right here.
It's true. You got the TO angle too. We got two TOs here.
Oh God.
Two of the GOATs, the greatest to ever do it. Milo, it would be great if you could just tell us about your background. Your how did you get involved in speedrunning in general? Twitch, Mario, whatever it was that drew you in. Would love to hear kind of about the origin story.
Sure, yeah. So a bit about me. My name's Camilo. I go by Milo online. How to introduce myself? I was born in Colombia. I grew up in Canada, in Ontario, and now I live out in BC on the West Coast with my girlfriend. Moved here a couple years ago. Super into soccer and music and speedrunning, pretty much. I discovered speedrunning in 2015, I believe it was, or towards the end of 2014, one of the two. I stumbled across Twitch, and then on the front page I saw Clint Stevens speedrunning Ocarina of Time, and I was like, why is somebody streaming Ocarina of Time? Isn't that game really old? Like it was like my favorite Zelda game of all time. As soon as I saw him speedrunning and like just the classic like mind blown, hooked instantly, like watching for weeks, like that's all I cared about. Then from there found cheese speedrunning Mario 64, and honestly I just kind of became obsessed. And when I stopped going to school, I did 1 year of business for a little bit, but wasn't really enjoying it. Took some time off and just tried streaming myself. I started with FIFA in 2016, I think, and then just made my way over to trying Mario 64, obviously, that's kind of how I got into things. Did that for a while, and then eventually, through the friends I made in the community, kind of had the idea to run my own events and make our ideas come to life that we thought would be cool, and it worked. So that's kind of what I've been doing since.
That's awesome. You started with FIFA. That's who's your team in FIFA?
Oh, I'm a die-hard Barcelona fan.
Okay.
Since for a long time, for going on like 20 years now. They're my team. Not a great time to be a Barcelona fan. I don't know if you guys follow soccer, but big part of my life for sure.
Are they not the top of La Liga anymore?
No. We won last year.
Yeah.
But this year, Madrid took it. Kind of a little bit of what's going on in the soccer world. Not too much to do with speedrunning, but yeah.
Definitely a tangent.
Yeah. No, but I watch a lot. I play a lot. I train in the mornings with the group of friends before they go to work. It's like fun stuff. Yeah.
Sick. I
So
love that.
amidst all of this, GSA stuff, speedrunning stuff, do you still find yourself kind of like going back to FIFA and kind of using it as like an unwind point? Like, how much do you still play?
Yeah, it's funny you put it that way. It should be my unwind game, but it's like what I'm most competitive in. At this point, it's probably like taking over my competitive itch that I haven't been scratching with Mario with speedrunning, I guess. Yeah, I'm a grind monkey for FIFA for sure. I go like in and out of it, but yeah, that's kind of the main game I play right now.
I love
Oh
that.
yeah.
Huge fan of that. You alluded to kind of, you started talking about wanting to organize tournaments, and then, you kind of made it happen. What's the detailed origin story of GSA? Like, give us the specifics. Like, you had this idea, but how do you go from having the idea in your head to where we are now, where, you have these twice annual events, these massive events, in-person events, I should say, with, each of the summer and the fall paces. Like, that's a huge jump. Like, it's one thing to have the idea, it's another thing to execute and then grow and continually improve on it. Like, how did that come to be?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it all started in 2018, just after SGDQ. When I kind of became good friends with Cheese, we like hung out a lot and like played soccer there. A lot. Cheese is really good at soccer. If you guys don't know, he's good at everything that he does. And yeah, me and Steve O'Broyle, the other co-founder of GSA, and longtime R64 moderator, legend in the community. Me and him were good friends, and we just had so many ideas that we thought would be cool for Mario tournaments, for other tournaments, for leagues, for in-person events, like just so many like ideas that we had. And yeah, he was going to run a which ended up being our first event, a 120 star relay tournament. Um, and I had been talking about all these ideas for so long. I was like, you know what, if you're gonna do it, like I'll help you. Like I can help stream, or I can help organize, whatever. And we realized like, okay, if we're gonna do this, let's like do all these other ideas for leagues that we wanted to try. That ended up kind of being the first larger scale idea that we tried. And so yeah, it just kind of made sense to, originally it was the 120 relay tournament was gonna be on Steve's channel. And Steve doesn't stream much, so we both agreed it would be maybe a better idea to come up with like a brand or like an org or something to put all these tournaments and these ideas that we had under. And I just kind of came up with like a generic name, Global Speedrun Association or group, or association was what I came up with, to kind of just keep it generic, so that if we wanted to branch out into other games or do events or just anything, the brand made sense, I guess. And yeah, we started with that tournament, and then we did other tournaments back in the day, like Super Metroid. We did Mega Man. We did other Mario stuff, Mario Odyssey. Just kept experimenting with different things. And then yeah, and then as far as the in-person event, um, I think that came to be because, I mean, we had been seeing a little bit of success with the tournaments that we were running, and obviously like a lot of other orgs outside of the classic like GDQs or ESAs, like we also wanted to try our own event. And that had kind of been a discussion for a little while, but it didn't really materialize until Cheese at a TwitchCon event met the owners of BT Bootcamp, who are obviously the owners of Xanadu, the venue that we now do pace at. And basically, they, when they met, they were like, "Hey, Cheese, like we're big fans. We love speedrunning. We love your stream." And Cheese told them about GSA. Oh, I kind of skipped the part where Cheese became involved. Basically, after me and Steve started doing events, we thought like, who else can we get involved that might be interested? And so we asked Cheese. Cheese was super down, and like pretty much since day one has also been a part of it, and really helped a ton, like with the BG Bootcamp connection that I was mentioning. So yeah, basically Cheese told them about GSA, that we were trying to do like competitive speedrunning and leagues and all that, and they were like, "Oh, that's awesome! If you guys ever want to try and do an in-person event, we have an esports venue with everything, CRTs and tech, like a crew that can help you." So we were like, "Oh my god, that would be amazing!" Obviously. Yeah, and I think at one point we had talked to Speedrun, the previous owner of Speedrun.com, Pack, about like kind of partnering on the event, and eventually it just kind of, once we got into the weeds of it, it just kind of became our event. Like we were organizing it, and Speedrun.com was more of like a promotional partner for it. So that is basically how the first event came to be. Twitch supported us, BG Bootcamp obviously with the venue, Speedrun.com like helping promote it. And then from there, we just had to basically not screw it up and make it interesting enough for people to come, and that's how Pace was born. Yeah.
So was like, what was the early vision of like, okay, we have all of this, like, we have all this tech, we have a venue, we have backers. So what was the original vision for the in-person event? Like, is it more in line with what we're seeing today, or is it like, was it like a far-reaching, like, different thing that you envisioned for like the first Pace? Like, what did you want to be there?
Yeah, that's a good question. Something I haven't thought about in a long time is that originally I proposed it be called the Speedrun Olympics, because we wanted to do so many. We had been doing tournaments with so many communities, and we thought it'd be so cool to like have essentially a Speedrun Olympics where there's like a bunch of tournaments, different communities, all in person, prize pools, everything. Obviously, you can't call anything the Olympics because they're IP. They're like super hard on that,
Yeah.
which is something I learned. So good thing we didn't go with that. And it was actually Limcube. If you guys know
Mm.
Limcube, big Breath of the Wild creator and Odyssey guy back in the day and everything. Really, really awesome guy who helped us a lot back in the day as well, in the early days. Yeah, he suggested calling it Pace, and a lot of people liked that idea, so that's what we went with. So yeah, the original vision was to have like a, kind of a speedrun Olympics style event, but really we just wanted any event to work. Like we started with 3 days. We just wanted people to show up. Like there was so much we didn't know, with like people coming in from Europe and like just all these things, right? I obviously live in Canada, going to America, a place I don't know, to like run an event. It was all very scary. So we just wanted to basically do some kind of marathon for a few days and have like competitive speedrunning in it in some way, which ended up being the climax of the three leagues that we were running at the time, for Celeste, for Mario Odyssey, and for Mario 64 for 70 Star. Yeah, so I think it was the top four of each of those leagues. Once they qualified, they got flown out to the first Pace, which was in 2019. And so that's kind of what it became. It's like maybe a smaller version of the Olympics idea I had, while being a traditional marathon and just being an event that we could learn a lot from and start to grow a community from.
That's incredible. When did 120? Because it seems like the last few paces 120, and maybe this is a miscategorization, and that could be because I am biased towards SM64. But it seems like 120 is kind of the premier event, at least at the most recent paces. Um, do you think that's an accurate characterization? First, I should ask, or do you think it isn't? That doesn't. That's not necessarily the focal point of the event, I should say.
Yeah, I mean for sure. It's no secret that like 120 is what gets the most viewers, and like I'd say was the one of the core like audiences that we were lucky to tap into, with everyone that was involved, like Liam and Cheese and Simply and everybody, for there to be enough interest, for like a lot of people in the Mario community to come out to the event. So like that, in a lot of ways, that was kind of like a little nucleus that like helped the event then grow with all these other adjacent Mario communities, and then adjacent like other games like Sonic when we had a tournament for them, Minecraft, all these other games that we've had as well. So yeah, I think it's just no secret that 120 is like the biggest thing in Mario.
Of course.
And I think just also the after experimenting with so many categories and formats for tournaments in terms of length and just everything, rule sets, etc. What we found that uh, hits the sweetest spot of like runners having a good time and wanting to like come back and participate, and viewership, and I don't know, honestly, like what we thought was the most fun to produce as well was the like 120 star open LTAs once a month, and then finals at Pace, doing it with LTAs as well. So yeah, that's just kind of what we've landed on. We're always like kind of trying to look at the event and the competitive formats from like a fresh point of view to see if there are things that need to be changed, if there are other things we should try. But right now, 120's been going pretty well, so that may change in the future with if another game comes out and it's just like the real, I don't know, it just takes over speedrunning and is a bigger deal, I guess. It would obviously make sense to try that and then see where it fits. And yeah, so we're always trying to evaluate like what makes the most sense for our event, for our audience. Yeah.
You bring up a good point. You've talked about how you're always looking at kind of the tournament format, rule set, and everything. And I think it's more praise that you all deserve, and how you've kind of embraced different tournament formats, and you haven't just like picked one at the outset and then like felt like you were kind of stuck, but you've been willing, and you have changed the formats multiple times. Because didn't you also do a 16-star league? I think, right? It was GSA that did the 16-star league. When was that? Like 2018, 2019?
2019, yeah, and the finals for that were at Smash and Splash, which was another, I don't know if you guys know that event. It's not around anymore. Now it's Riptide. That's kind of like the spiritual successor for it. Yeah, that was in 2019 as well. The finals for 16-star, yeah, we flew out the top. It was going to be the top four. I think only Cheese and Akki ended up being able to make it. Akki came all the way from Japan, which was super cool.
That's sick.
That kid's a legend. Well, he's not a kid anymore. That was a while ago, so he's like in his 20s. That's crazy. Yeah, so we did 16-star. For a long time, 16-star was known as like the race category, right? That it was like super hyped. Simply did his tournaments with it, and there were so many others. Obviously, it being a short category where like it can, you generally be pretty tight. You do best of threes, like just so many good things going for it. So that was one of the reasons why we like leaned into it, and we were like, oh, let's try and do like an in-person finals for it, see how it goes. Same with 70 stars, since that was a little bit longer, but not 120, where like if somebody loses 2 minutes, like 10 minutes into the race, it's like it's over, and then what do you do with the rest of the hour and a half of what's going on? Like, so ironically enough, 120-star tournaments, even in the 1v1 format, for me, were the most hype as well, because when it did line up and it was like tight going into the last 10-15 minutes of the run, oh my gosh, it's just crazy because it's a 120 run. So anyway, yeah, it was a lot of fun to experiment with the different formats, and I'm definitely happy with like that we gave everything. Like I feel like a fair shot. We still dabble with different formats and different showcase types and everything every now and then, but I think kind of accepting that like 120 and this format is like what we should focus on as we're still growing is, yeah, I think that's all been like a good balance in my opinion.
I think I owe you. I feel like I've thanked you and GSA a lot this episode already, and it probably won't stop. But you're also the reason I found SM64 speedrunning. It was rerun. It was a rerun of the Akki and Cheese Championship, or the 16-star championship. I remember it like super vividly. It was during COVID. And I was just like on Twitch. COVID brought me to Twitch because like sports shut down, and so like I needed other entertainment. So I like stumbled my way to Twitch basically. And I remember like, I don't even know how I found the speedrun, like the GSA channel, but I did. And I was watching it and I was like, what am I, like the same way you described it, right? Like the fascination that everyone experiences at the beginning. But it was just like, what am I watching? This is the craziest thing I've ever seen of this game that I played a million times as a kid. And I was immediately obsessed. So and like the next day I like got an emulator, or I think I already had one, I can't remember, and I just like started learning bomb clip, which was like the stupidest trick to start learning, and I spent like 4 hours trying to get it, and I finally got it, and I was like, this is so sick. But yeah, it's like you brought me into SM64.
Oh man, that's so cool. Thank you for saying that. I had no idea. That's really, really cool. You know what? People hated on the 24/7 stream, but we got Geo because of it. So
there you go.
There we go.
You hate the 24/7
stream. It was all worth it.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, that's awesome. Oh man, yeah, I remember so many things about that event. It was like I drove to it from Ontario because it was in Wisconsin. So it was like just a day's drive, and I brought like what equipment I had. The TOs there, they like really helped us out with like setting us up like a projector and like a little stage and everything. They're really nice to us. But like, every event that you go to, it's just so different in the setup that you're working with, the spacing of everything, I mean, you can imagine. And that event, I don't know how we pulled it off. Like we had one guy that was helping us with a PC, and he brought what he could as well. I don't think he was a Smash guy, so he wasn't like all aware of like what speedrunning needed. Um, but we made it work. We our tripod for just to get we used one webcam to get the angle of both runners that were playing, and we just like split it in OBS and like separated it. And our tripod was just a stack of chairs that I found. I was like, we need to get this
Let's
higher.
go.
This angle doesn't work. Like, does anyone have chairs? Like, and I'm just running around like an hour before the event starts, like looking for more chairs. Like, yeah, that event was chaotic, but I'm very lucky in that no event has been like a catastrophe or fallen apart or just not happened, or like people been really upset because we messed up or something. Um, so yeah, that event is like nice to look back on for that reason, that even though it was chaotic, it happened, and they got Geo into speedrunning. So
True.
there you go.
True. Why Wisconsin?
That's just where Smash and Splash was.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So
right. That's right. You said
sorry,
it was
yeah.
Smash and
So
Splash.
Smash and Splash was the big Smash tournament that was going on there at the resort. It was like a water park, and that's what Riptide is now. It's also that's kind of like
Yep.
their thing. It's really cool.
The
And
Wisconsin
yes,
Dells, I think it is, right?
yes, I think so. I think
Yeah,
so.
like a random
Uh,
water resort park in the middle of Wisconsin. It's so funny.
exactly that was hosting a Smash tournament. Yeah, I don't know. It was really cool, and they I think after we did, I'm pretty sure that was after we did the first pace, and that's why we kind of started knowing like TOs and organizers in the Smash community, and they invited us out there like to be kind of like a side event at their big Smash tournament, and so we were like, hell yeah, like at that time in my life, I was like, any event that we can do, any like experience I can get, like any content we can get is just let's do it. So yeah.
I mean, it's fantastic that 16 stars kind of like worked its way into larger, like, I'm guessing it was Melee, Riptide's Melee. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's great that it's worked its way into those events, because like you even see on Twitch that a lot of like top Melee players, not a lot, but like some top Melee players are kind of like experimenting with SM64 and like
Yeah.
getting into speedrunning in that sense. So I just think it's really cool that that sort of pipeline between Melee and SM64 exists, and it can get a lot of new people into speedrunning, and just things like that, just introduce it to a broader audience.
Yeah,
So it's really cool being able to
absolutely.
get into events like that.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's a really nice synergy. Like you said, all the and Cheese will tell you this. He knows a lot more of the top Smash players than I do, but he always says that like it's so cool that top Smash players like are super into speedrunning, especially the Melee guys. It's also how we got connected with Ludwig at that event, because he was
Mm.
on the come up with streaming, and he was commentating a lot for Smash back in the day. So um, yeah, I think he just knew Cheese kind of similarly to the guys from BD Boot Camp, and they connected, and we were like, oh, we're gonna be at this event if you want to do anything, and he did like a Mario Maker challenge against Cheese or against Easyscape or something like that at that Smash and Splash event. So yeah, it's been like a really fun and really helpful relationship like with the Smash community. All those guys, TOs, Smash players, everything. Yeah, it's been great.
So we've talked about how pace is kind of it's a whole bunch of different speedrunning communities coming together. It's not just Mario. How do you kind of choose like what other events to host? How do you find connections with other games? Is it them reaching out to you at this point? Has it always been that way? Has it changed as GSA has kind of become better known and grown over the years?
Yeah, in the beginning, I mean, obviously it was us reaching out because we were just trying to establish ourselves, like you said. Nowadays, for stuff like the in-person tournaments at Pace, we usually have like a few communities that reach out before an event. Right now, we have like I think 5 communities, maybe 5 or 6 that I'm talking to about doing something in the fall. So that's been really nice, because like there's obviously like a big difference between me going like kind of trying to sell the event or sell the whatever the showcase tournament to a community that like might not be going to pace or like doesn't really know much about it. then like a group of people that have already talked to each other, like, hey, like what if we did a tournament at Pace, and then they want to come. That's just like, it works out beautifully in that sense that we can kind of really count on getting those guys out there. It's not like a hard sell. They already kind of know how it all works. So yeah, that's been really fun. Is putting on these tournaments for different communities at Pace and seeing other communities see that like that seems like fun. Pace seems like fun. Why don't we try and get involved? And then yeah, we just like we meet new people from different communities, get them involved, and that's just been a really nice side of things. And then for online stuff, it's a bit of a mix. We still sometimes reach out to different communities we either haven't worked with in a while, or if there's like a new game that has recently been established that like we want to try out, or yeah, sometimes we reach out to like individual creators to see if like there's like a fun, like we did a Fall Guys thing one time where we asked like a dozen or so, or maybe seven, I think it was 7 creators to like make teams, and then we did like an event for urban arts like that. So yeah, it's always a mix, and it's definitely helpful that now we've been doing this for long enough where people kind of, they know who we are, they know that we do events, and they generally turn out well. So yeah.
Are there any games that you're kind of looking at right now that you're like, man, I really wish that was at our event. Like I really want to experiment with that game a little bit. Like, is there anything that kind of catches your attention in that sort of way?
Yeah, well, I'd say a big one that we are going to get involved in, maybe this is a little bit of a reveal or a leak for you guys.
Breaking news, let's go.
Yeah, and well, it's not totally new because we've done a good amount of stuff with them in the past, but relatively recently, there's been a pretty big explosion in Minecraft speedrunning ranked. If you guys are familiar with MCSR ranked, obviously we recently brought on Oliver, who's one of the co-founders of MCSR ranked to help us run events. He's going to be at Pace, like helping us on the tech team and stuff. So we've been like playing with ideas on MCSR ranked stuff that we could maybe do at Pace. We still got to figure out, how to make it all happen. But that's something that I would be really excited to do because I think what he's done with MCSR ranked is really, really cool. What else? I'm really excited for the SMB 1, Mario Bros 1 simultaneous coming back with Flibbity Dibbity. If you guys, or for whoever doesn't know, that's like where all of the Marios of like up to 8 people, I think it is, that he made the software for, are all on one screen, and there's like a mini map that shows like where they all are like relative to each other while they're racing. It's really cool. So that's gonna be fun to bring back.
That's so cool.
Yeah. There's always like random games or formats for games or things like that like catch my eye, that like then I start like thinking like, oh, how could we do that at Pace or at a different event? So yeah.
So are those in the works for, obviously not Pace that's happening in a week? Is that like fall, or it's still kind of TBD on the timeline?
For Minecraft?
Yeah, Minecraft and SMB1 to whatever extent that partnership may happen.
Oh yeah. So SMB1 is going to be at summer, in a week at Summer Phase. Yeah, sorry if I didn't say that. And then yeah, Minecraft we're looking at the fall, if not next summer. Yeah, if something happens again. I don't want to like commit Oliver to that or anything, because we definitely haven't like 100% said we're going to do yet. But
sure.
That's something that I would really like to do.
You're in talks. You're in talks. There's no commitment there.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier, you made a reference to Urban Arts. Obviously, GSA is partnering with Urban Arts, and the Pace events I don't know if they've all been, or a majority at least have been, for the benefit of Urban Arts. Can you tell us more about that partnership? Kind of how did that start, and how has that evolved over the years?
Yeah, Urban Arts is amazing. I really can't sing their praises enough. Cheese and I've told the story a couple of times, but Cheese and I have like actually after Pace 2022, I think it was 2022. We went to New York, since it's only like a few hours from Maryland, and we got to like meet the teachers and the students and everything, and spend some time with them, do like a Q&A with them, and yeah, that was really great. Urban Arts supports underprivileged kids to learn like game design and coding and sound design and everything for video games specifically, for anyone who doesn't know. And they're based in New York, and yeah, they're awesome. Yeah, we've done a few, worked with a few charities before. We did Tackle Kids Cancer once. We did, it was for COVID. It was like Meridian Health. We worked with them in 2020 when Pace got, when COVID happened and Pace got turned into an online event. And there's a few others. We did an event for a diabetes charity. I don't quite remember what their name was, but yeah. Anyway, and then in 2021, I believe is when Urban Arts reached out to us and they were like, "Hey, we see all this these cool charity speedrunning events that you guys do. How can we get involved? Like, we want to help you guys do as many as we can or as you can. We want to help pay commentators, pay your staff, whatever we can do to raise money for the students at Urban Arts." And so we kind of laid out oh, okay, well, we have these ideas for events. This is how much we think we could fundraise, or it could be more, whatever. And yeah, ever since then we've just kind of gone event by event, kind of pitching ideas to them. They pitch ideas to us of more things they want to be involved with and everything. And it's been really, really great. Yeah, it's just been an awesome partnership. And we're this year, my goal is to raise $100,000 for them. So after this Pace Fall, and one other event that I can't quite talk about yet, but we are definitely cooking on. Yeah, hopefully we can hit that goal this year, because I would really like to do that for them. They're really awesome.
That's incredible. I mean, $100,000 is a ton of money. That's crazy, amazing work that you guys are doing on their behalf. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think I'm not sure what the total is so far that it might already be more than 100,000 lifetime, I guess, since we started working with them. But yeah, that's the goal for this year anyway.
Still got a lot of year left too, with both Paces and a mystery third event.
Super secret third event.
Yeah, it's I guess what I can say is it's kind of a mix of bringing back an old event and some new things. So, yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Cheese and Akki, another 16-star final coming up. Wisconsin Dells, be there, be square.
That'd be crazy to have Akki be part of an event again. Does Akki still play Mario? I'm not sure if
he doesn't stream.
He's active.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's just been grinding offline for years. Dude's already got a 14.2x.
Yeah, exactly. He's just holding back.
100%. It's like I'm watching the Summoning Salt Tetris video very slowly. I know I'm behind on this because it came out at least a week ago, maybe more. But the Tetris player, not Cheese, the Mario player, wouldn't post his world record videos a lot. That's basically just what Aki's been doing over these years. Just world record after world record, but not posting it.
He's just hoarding.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. So we talked a little earlier about kind of the current format of, the 120 of at least for Summer Pace, you have the qualifiers, you have the 3 qualifiers, and then it leads up to the in-person finals. And the finalists, have their travel compensated to make sure that they can be there. And I know at least fall last year didn't have the qualifiers. And I think that's part of it is just it's too much of a burden to organize all that, because at that point you're adding on 3 weekends. How did you kind of land on the 3 weekends of qualifiers for summer? And is that, do you have any plans or discussions of tweaking that, or do you guys feel like that's in a really good spot? Because I love it. I mean, it's also the reason that we were able to start this podcast is because we had so much material to talk about, and it kind of creates this build up, and there's great pacing on it where there's a month between each one. So there's a lot of time to think about it. People can workshop different strats and lab things and get ready for it. And they can also take a break right after so they don't burn out. But I was just curious if that's one of the things you thought about tweaking, or how you landed on that, or anything you can really share about that.
Yeah, so it kind of goes back to the sweet spot that I was talking about before, from trying so many different games and formats and everything. The first season of the World Record Circuit is what I kind of put all of the tournaments under one umbrella to put them all together. That's what I called it anyway. The first season was a monthly, I think I don't know if we did 3 or 4 kind of similar style LTAs, only with 7 runners, right? They weren't open LTAs, kind of climaxing at in-person events as well. And I think that's where we finally found the balance of like once a month felt right for like how often runners, like I feel like runners even wanted it on their minds, like because speedrunning is really hard. Mario 64 is really hard, especially if you're a full-time streamer or you just stream a lot, like grinding attempts. Sometimes runners want like 2 weeks, like not even looking at the game or thinking about it. So previously we had done like weekly 70-star leagues, and after like a couple months that would really start to wear on some runners, like obviously because it's just asking a lot. I was hoping that like a week in between each race would be enough, but it wasn't. So yeah, that's when we played with the idea of doing once a month. We do it over a weekend. And then the open LTA idea was something that I had for a long time, like since I want to say like 2020 or something. Sometime after Twitch Rivals did their like Celeste event. I forget what it was called, but they basically tried that format with like runners online, and then obviously ESA did break the record in person, and so I just kind of thought like of combining those two ideas. Like obviously we had done in-person competitive speedrunning already, but like that format that Twitch Rivals tried and then ESA showed like how it could be produced well in person, just kind of made sense to me. So yeah, and then combining with our ideas of doing like online qualifiers leading up to in-person events, that's kind of how we landed on the monthly qualifiers, open LTA, and then the top 7 get invited out to pace. So I think just from the experiment of doing so many things with GSA over the years, that it's just what, at least to me, has made the most sense. That format and everything that we've landed on is probably what we'll use for the foreseeable future.
I mean, it makes sense. It's I feel like you've really like found gold, kind of, with this format. I mean, it's a great way to kind of build up hype too as you lead up to like the finals. And I know I kind of touched on this in my initial question, the rant before I actually asked you a question. But would you ever do the qualifiers before fall, or is it just kind of, it's not really practical?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, we will be doing qualifiers this year. We would have for the fall. Yeah, there will be qualifiers for sure.
Let's go.
Last year there weren't, just because I think the timing, originally last summer pace was supposed to be around this time, like late May or early June, but it got pushed back just because GDQ ended up announcing on like literally the same week that we were going to take. So we didn't want to cause any friction there for people that wanted to go to both events or anything like that. So yeah, that's why it ended up cutting then the lead up time to pace fall a little bit shorter. So, and I think I just needed a break at that point as well, just to kind of to show there was like so many new things we were trying, and all these that year in particular in 2022, we did, I think, 4 or 5 in-person events. There was Las Vegas, there was 2 at Glitch, there was Pace, and then TwitchCon, so 5. So yeah, leading into 2023, then doing the qualifiers and all of that up to Pace Summer, I think I needed a bit of a break, and then Pace Fall happened. That was great, and then yeah, now I think the lead up time between each event is enough, and I've kind of I've brought in some more help with Drum Basher, who's a goat. Shout out to him. He's been a really big help, really big part of the GSA production team for a while now, and obviously with Oliver as well, who I mentioned too. So yeah, with the 3 of us kind of overseeing the day-to-day stuff of the online events and the qualifiers and everything, I think we'll be able to manage another set of qualifiers leading up to the fall.
And you didn't mention this, but also last year you didn't have a podcast to cover the qualifiers. I'm sure that's a huge reason why we didn't do qualifiers before fall. And now you're like, well, now we have the media coverage, obviously.
Exactly. Yeah. No. And if I cut the qualifiers, I cut your guys' full-time jobs.
I was gonna say, like, we do kind of need that. Like, we went all in on this. So we, if you weren't doing that, we'd be lost. It'd be over.
Yeah, every single one of my eggs are in this basket right now. Like I'm locked in.
You know how they say diversify? That is the opposite of what we've done here.
Yeah.
Concentrate.
It's all this. It's all this.
Hell yeah, plan A, baby. Nothing else.
Oh man.
But, that's awesome. That's awesome that the qualifiers are coming back, because I mean it's just such a good time in the community as well. Just seeing everybody come together, run 120 star. A lot of runners that people might not really know about get on this like big, huge broadcast that like thousands of people are watching. So it's really cool just for community exposure, and it's just a really great community event in general. Just the whole process of the qualifiers, it's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's really, really cool. I think one of the feelings, right, like one of the driving forces behind me like wanting to do events and have these ideas and stuff in general was the feeling that I had when I was in a speed gaming tournament back in like 2017 or something. It was just so cool, like, because you you grind on your own stream all the time, and you like make friends and you practice together and stuff. But like tournaments are just like for fun or for money or whatever, or just with your friends. Like they're just another outlet for you to put your effort and your passion from speedrunning into. And it's so cool. So I think that like being able to give that feeling that I had participating in that speed gaming tournament to other people, whether it's like at the live finals, in front of the crowd and everything, or it's just like somebody at home like that has been grinding and like it's like kind of on the come up, and then they like get a PB on our stream like during the qualifiers or something like it's so cool to me. And it makes like doing the qualifiers, it's like for me I think like the sweetest cherry on top of doing the qualifiers. Like it's great that it makes sense like viewership wise and like spacing and production wise and everything, but like the fact that like so many people can be involved, that like put so much time into their games, and it's just kind of like an open call to anyone who does want to be involved, and then those really cool moments happen. Yeah, it's just great. I think it's a sweet spot in a lot of ways.
You referenced your own speedrunning career there, and you've referenced it before, and we talked about it a little bit before we started recording. Can you tell us more about Milo the Speedrunner?
Sure. I would have world record if I wasn't doing GSA.
I love that.
Put it that way.
I love that claim.
No.
That's a
I
fact.
definitely. I love Mario. I still love Mario 64. Obviously, I think like working on GSA has kind of taken the place of like speedrunning for that, and that like grinding Mario's place in speedrunning for me in my life. But yeah, I was on the grind, man. From like 2016, I think I said, until, or no, maybe I started in 2017. I don't really remember, until like mid 2018. I was like, all about it, practicing every day, streaming every day. And yeah, I think the best I got was maybe like top 30 or maybe in the low 30s or something in 120 star. I had like a 146 or something, which was good enough to be like top 30 at the time, which is crazy because now it's probably like 150 or something. So yeah. And yeah, I still love it. I still sometimes like throw on. I got an EverDrive recently, and I mentioned I'm gonna start streaming again. So yeah, I was on Game Shark until like a month or two ago.
Damn!
Oh,
wow.
Believe it or not, yeah. So,
wow. Welcome to present day, huh?
Welcome to Ushimu Day.
Like I woke up from a coma, like yeah, for real. So yeah, I love Mario. It's the skill ceiling, the intensity, the like you're sprinting on it, that feeling of like sprinting on a tightrope until you finally get it right. Like it's awesome.
So we expect that you'll qualify for fall then, right?
Yeah, for my own event, I have this like this dream of winning my own event, like coming back.
Honestly, that's sick. That would be so cool.
And, like putting the medal around my own neck, like
I think the coolest thing would be is if you designed this entire thing so that you could have a live event that you can win. If that was the goal the entire time was just so you could win your own event, honestly, I would respect the hell out of that move. That'd be so sick.
If I could do that, that would be. Yeah, I wish I had like a video or something recorded from 2018. Like, I'm gonna do this one day. Like, just you watch. Like,
just record it now and say it was from 2018.
There you go. Yeah,
it's the internet. You just say whatever, right?
Quite the timeline.
Yeah.
Was 120 star always your category? Was it like the one that you wanted to do from the start, or did that kind of interesting categories evolve over time as you played more?
Yeah, I started with 70. Did
Based.
I did that for a few months, and then like I tried 16 for a little bit, but I don't think I really grinded it much, and then just jumped to 120 and never looked back. Yeah.
So no 16 in the future.
No, I don't think so. I think
yikes.
I have a huge appreciation for 16 star, and like, you know, I mean, obviously like we did tournaments for it, and like that's so cool, racing 16, like everything, just the category in general, how far it's been pushed, like so cool. But yeah, I don't know if it's for me.
Damn, that hurts a little.
As a fellow,
are you a 16 star specialist?
Yeah, it's the only category I really run. It's more because of like a time constraint. Like I just don't feel like I have time to put into 70 or 120. 120 is the GOAT. Like if I had time, I would run 120. It's the best category. Like you're playing the whole game. You can't beat it. Like it's so sick.
Yeah, and it's like I think maybe Sweegie is just straight up the best person to maybe gauge each category. I don't know what he's said on it. But yeah, maybe once he gets like really, really deep into 120, like pushing for record, then maybe he'll say the same, or maybe he'll say that 16 record that he got is still like the hardest thing. Like who knows? That'll be interesting for sure.
I hope Sweegie competes in the pace qualifiers.
Me too.
That'd be sick. Oh man, that'd be so cool. I mean, just honestly, the more people competing in, the better. Like it's just so fun to see everyone. And it's great too, because it's not even, I mean, you pointed this out before, but like seeing people get PBs, it's not even about, you know, the top 7 necessarily. There's so much action to keep track of, and like Beeve, I feel like improved so much over the course of these qualifiers, and like that was sick to see. I don't know. It's just, you know, there's so much at any kind of, you know, echelon of like runner or tier of runner or whatever. There's just like a lot to watch, and as people improve and see how many points they can get and then compare their results from like year to year, it's just like, it rocks, man. It's so fun.
It's so fun. Yeah, I'm really glad you say that. That was my hope for it from the beginning when I was putting the format together and everything, and I was just like imagining like are people outside of the top 20 or whatever even going to care? Are they even going to care about joining? Like, because if you're a, let's say, intermediate player, and you know like you're not going to qualify, like is it still fun for you to like, or yeah, the question was, is it still going to be fun for everybody, like you said, from every echelon, new players or, you know, the top players, to be part of it, and to like still want to like try and get a PB on stream, or just to like see where they compare against like on the leaderboard against their friends, if they're in calls, like, you know, just being part of the event. Like, yeah, just for it to be, for those weekends to be like a big community event, come together, everyone's like excited to watch the runs. That was like the goal. So I think we've generally hit that, and yeah, I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, you've certainly achieved that. I mean, it's like, it's on my calendar. Obviously, we've done, you know, the show, but it was before that anyway. It was like, oh, this is like something I'm going to be tuned into like all weekend, you know, or in some capacity. Even if I'm busy, it's like sneaking looks at it on my phone, or like, you know, if I have to do something where I can't be at my computer, like throwing it on my headphones so I have the audio at least. I mean, it's the best. It truly is like a unifying community event, which is incredible.
So yeah, and I love that there's that angle too, that it's like a pretty long day of Mario. There's the charity aspect to it as well. Obviously, it's really hype when we hit the daily goals and extend. We get another 2 hours of the event, and it's just nice that you can like if I were, and I do watch them, but like if I wasn't also organizing them, I would just think it's cool that I can just like have it on all day. I can check in to see movement on the leaderboards, like just tune in whenever to see if there's some hot runs. Yeah, I like it a lot.
I think something that, I don't know this for sure because I don't know much about like the organization end of things, but something like the run.gg that you guys have definitely started utilizing recently. That must have unlocked like a whole different aspect of being able to like give people a source to like keep track of things. We've
Yeah.
referenced it a lot on this show, just like looking at the leaderboards and stuff. Like, what's a tool like that kind of mean for an event like this? Like, what does that enable?
Oh man, I could spend the rest of this talking about Joey and the Run GG. Just truly like, not even from, obviously from the angle of like all the work that he's done, just out of like loving the community and like just wanting to make good tools for it and do cool events and everything. But also just me personally, like without the Run GG, my idea would not be possible. And in fact, it wasn't possible for season one of SWRC for that reason. That's why we could only invite 7 people. Like, how are you going to manually keep track without some kind of streamlined tool like the Run GG? How are you going to keep track of all that data, swap the streams correctly, like know who's on a good run, etc. Um, and I was actually in the process of finding somebody to pay like a lot of money to develop essentially what Joey did for the community for free. Like
Wow.
like it was like a 5-figure budget that I was like really I was like
Damn.
I want this to happen. Like I think it's like a great idea for competitive speedrunning. I think it's the next thing, or the next step, that natural evolution of like online qualifiers where anyone can participate in this LTA format. Like I need someone to do this, you know. And then as if like like an angel came from like
It's
at
Joey.
literally like within months of this, around the same time when I was trying to find someone to develop this, Joey had like finished it. It was just there for free, like,
Wow.
and I was like, oh my god, like yeah. Anyway, so I talked to Joey a lot. Like he's an awesome dude, and I really can't sing his praises enough. Um, yeah, I think it was revealed recently that like the Run GG is going to be used at Ludwig's event that's coming up, Fast
Mhm.
50,
Nice.
and just like so well deserved. Like Joey's so excited as he should be, because yeah, that guy is just he's a goat. Yeah.
Is there any other tool that like you don't have now but would make a huge impact or difference in how you're able to conduct these tournaments?
That's a great question. I think me and Joey have been cooking up ideas for like cool stats and like cool ways to be able to show like more like a analysis of the qualifiers or of like certain runners or like different things like that, like during the qualifiers or during the like at pace as well. That could be really cool to show on stream and have the commentators like, get like a sidebar of like stats on like the current split that this runner that's being shown is on, and like what their percentage of like being able to get past that split in a run is, and
Mm-hmm.
like how like just all these things. Like there's you guys can imagine there's an unlimited amount of things you can. I mean, sports has already done it, so um, yeah, I think that would be really cool. What else? Just general, like there's so many ways we can improve our production. Obviously, like replays, um, just cooler like animations of everything. Right now, it's pretty like startling when like streams swap suddenly, just because of how it's set up in OBS. Like there's not a lot I can do about it. The Drum actually came up with a solution for it recently, but it's kind of just really messes with our whole setup kind of. Anyway, yeah, there's like a lot of things that we can improve with production, with like stats and stuff on the stream. I'm trying to think of like what else. I don't know. The main thing I'm working on right now is the 24/7 stream stuff, and getting Artemis is helping us a ton with that, with getting features and cool tools like made for that, for like a schedule, or for a way for people to be notified like when their run is going to be played if they submitted it, and their run's going to be played on our stream. Um, yeah, so those are a few that come to mind right now.
Zeus, do you want to ask any other questions, or should we jump into the finale?
Um, Let me see. Let me see. I think like just mostly talking about the event this year. Um, we talk with pretty much every guest about just like the finals and what they think about that. Obviously you tried to watch like as much as you could. But based on kind of what you're seeing and the group of 7 that made it, do you have any kind of like outstanding like predictions about who might take it? Do you have any maybe hot takes about how the grand finals for the LTA might end up?
Yeah, so I think like Cheese is my best friend, so I could just never put anyone above him, and he's just my goat, you know. From when I came into Mario 64 and he's how I discovered Mario 64 speedrunning, so I'll always, you know, put him to win and be rooting for him. But yeah, I don't know. The competition is really good. As always, the players that qualify and the players that we have come out are just the top of the top. So I'm excited to see. I want everyone to get a 139 or better. Like I'll put that prediction. That would be really nice because I don't think we've had that yet at an event. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that's what I would be looking forward to the most, and for Cheese to win.
I love it. A PB would be sweet. That's what I want. I want one of the 7 to PB, a live PB.
Yep.
Blue Bob prepping for it. He got a lower 139. He's prepping the 138 for pace itself. Calling it now. Calling my shot.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome to see. I'm trying to think. Do you know if we've seen a PB at pace for 120 like during the LTA? I don't know if
like a true PB.
Like a true PB, yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think
not that I can. I got into speedrunning in 2021, so since then I don't think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And someone maybe comment if there's one that we're forgetting. But
Smart.
I know we've had like record paces like several times. You know, like one of the ones I remember was Sweegie on record pace, like into bits in 16 star in Las Vegas, which was the first in-person event that we did after PACE 2019, like post-COVID, like Las Vegas 2022. That was the first one we did, and he was there. We were all there, like shaking for him, you know, like it was crazy. Obviously 16, like that happens a little more frequently, but yeah, I'm sure. I feel like Ouija was on record pace at the last pace a couple times. Like I'm sure it's happened with other people, maybe Liam. Like, yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned Vegas again. Would you ever do another event in Vegas?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was really, really fun. That one was Double Down. That was the name of that one, and that was VG Boot Camp's event in Las Vegas. That was great. I mean, if the budget's there for it, and like we could do it, and we could come up with like some content that makes sense to do, given the timeline of like qualifiers and everything, or we could do like a different game. Yeah. I am trying to in 2022, like I said, we did 5 events, and I think that was just a little too much for me. So I'm either trying to slow down on the amount of in-person events that we do. I'm trying to cap it at like 3 that I at least like personally go to and organize and oversee and everything. And then if we do more, there's like a couple people in position that like we could get to help me basically do that and run the events. So if the opportunity is right, and you know I could get some extra help, then yeah, I don't see why not. Las Vegas was awesome.
Huge. Zias, you want a live podcast from Vegas?
Let's do it.
Huge.
I'm down.
Nice.
I'm there.
All right. Actually, on that note, that segues perfectly into my next question. When should we expect our official media / journalist credentials and badges? I didn't see those in the mail. I'm not going to Summer Pace, so I assume that's why I haven't gotten mine.
Those haven't arrived yet. That's crazy. No, yeah. Anytime. I think if you guys, if you're both there, I mean, Zeus is already coming and you're commentating and everything. So, yeah, Gio, as soon as you want to do it up, and you guys have some ideas for content or whatever it is that, however you want to cover it or do the podcast or anything, we'll definitely, yeah, we'll get you in there. That'd be awesome.
I just want to, on my badge, to like there to be something that makes me different and feel special. That's like the only thing I really care about.
Like a nice neon lamp or something.
Like, oh, sorry, press coming through. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'll be so obnoxious about it. Everyone's gonna hate me. It's gonna be great. Oh man. Well, listen, Milo, we want to be cognizant of your time. I know you have a lot to do between now and PACE coming up very shortly, and we're all very excited about that. But before we let you go, we have to ask you a question that we ask everyone. What is your Mount Rushmore, your top 4 Mario 64 runners?
Runners?
You can do stars too. Runners is the one. I feel like runners is the one that both are good. Both are good.
Both are good. Okay, I'll do stars first,
Okay.
since that's a little more of an appetizer.
I like
I
that.
really like SSL 100. That's I just think it showcases like what the game can do so well, so fun to grind, like just such a the advanced strats are so cool. A star that's evolved a lot over time as well too. Um, what else? Obviously TTC 100. It's just a classic. Um, I'm gonna go carpetless just because it's carpetless, just what it did for the community.
Do you know
Um,
carpetless?
no, well, she's taught me like one or two of the possible ways you can do it,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say I know carpetless. Yeah.
So you know
Uh,
carpetless. I'll say it. You won't say it. I'll say it. Milo knows carpetless.
sure. I'm getting to know carpetless. We're
Yeah,
still
you're
the
talking. Yeah.
stages. Yeah. And a fourth one. What jumps out at me? You know what? I, I know the answer, but I'm afraid to say it. It's Womps 100. I love Womps 100. Okay, I'm gonna say it. I love
Cut
going
this.
for
Cut
the
this.
ultimate cycle or whatever it is. Even the pro cycle is fun. It's a great warm up start. It's fun to hit the cycle. I don't know. It's just I think it's one of those that like when I was getting into it and like we're getting into Mario 64, watching people hit that cycle was just like God, like these guys are pro. You know, like they're just so good. That like doing it still kind of it's just a good feeling. Like once you get on the whatever the lever that moves around, you hit the cycle. It's just really satisfying. So I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah.
The
Lost my
only
night.
the only bad
I like that pick.
objectively the only bad thing about Womps 100 is that it's at the beginning of the run, and so everyone does it all the time, and you get sick of it. It's a good star.
Yes, yeah. I always say if because Cheese did a tier list the other day of I'm sure other people have too of all 120 stars, and I die by I'll die on this hill. If Womps 100 was later in the run, like it would have gone up some tiers 100%.
For sure.
Yeah,
Totally agree.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, those are my four for the stars.
Love it.
Solid.
And then for runners, so I kind of already said, Cheese has to be up there for me. This is just my personal favorite goats, whatever that you want to say. Cheese is up there for me. Just dominated 120 for so long. I feel like has the most runs that were world record out of any Mario player. I
I
think.
think that's right.
Yeah. Obviously, he's how I got into speedrunning. So Cheese for sure. I think for me, you got to say Siglemic. Not on everybody's Mount Rushmore, but I think the impact that he had on the game and for the time, how he pushed it, it was just legendary. So many people that were impactful in the community today, like were impacted by Siglemic. So I think that's one you got to say. I'm gonna say Sweegie. I think Sweegie, like nearly having the sweep of it in like today, having the sweep of all major categories is insane. That kid is just I don't know how he does it. He's from another planet.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna say one that I don't think anyone else has said. I correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna say Bubsia.
Oh,
Nobody else has put
new
Bubsy on a Mount
entry.
Rushmore.
I really mess with Bubsia. I think it's just a completely different way to play the game. He's had to like completely innovate it himself. I'm sure there's maybe people that help him, but like he's definitely the trailblazer of this just like really creative way to play Mario 64. It's just so impressive that he doesn't use his eyes to beat the game that's on the screen. It's insane. So yeah, I just really appreciate how just creative and cool that is. Yeah.
I love that. I love that you're right. Nobody's pointed out Bubsy before. Bubsy is a great pick. Bubsy, come on the pod.
Yeah, that'd be a great episode. Yeah, he's probably got a lot to say about the madness, the man behind the madness.
Yeah, I mean, what Bubsy does is actually crazy. I haven't even really tried anything blindfolded, like seriously, but it's nuts. And to your point, it brings out like a whole new creative stroke to the game because you have to be so creative in how you approach like all these different problems. Yeah, blindfolded Mario is nuts.
So cool. Yeah. There you go.
I love it. Great Mount Rushmore. Listen, Milo, thank you so much for coming on. This was incredible. We really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us and tell us all about GSA and how it's evolved over the years, the partnership with Urban Arts. And we can't wait for PACE finals coming up. And now we know we have PACE qualifiers for fall PACE to look forward to after. So we can't wait for that. I'm sure. Are you going to announce like the timeline after PACE summer?
Yeah, I'm thinking like early mid-July for the first one, and then 3 or 4 weeks in between each one.
Let's go.
Trying to get them done like 2 months, 6 weeks to 2 months out of pace fall, which was hopefully lining up for either late October or sometime in November. So yeah, just those are the rough. That's the rough outline, I would say.
I love it. So we have a 5-week Mario drop between the finals and the start of the next qualifiers. I think we can get through that. That 5 weeks is doable.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've got to give the runners, a little bit of break time as well. But I'm sure it's really nice to know that there's like a lot of runners that haven't played since the last qualifiers that will be itching to be involved and get some points and try and qualify for the fall. So yeah, it's going to be fun to get back into it for sure.
Do you know of anyone, before we let you go, I know I've already started to say the bye part, but do you know of anyone who didn't participate this time that is planning on participating coming up?
I don't know specifically. Obviously like the big ones, at least to me, the obvious ones that were missing were like Simply and Liam for this last one. Would be super cool to see them hop back in. But yeah, I'm not sure if they will. Hopefully though. Yeah, it'd be great.
Agreed. And for like the third or fourth time I've ever said this, but Simply, come on the fucking pod.
Come on the pod.
Come on the pod. Come on the pod. All right, Milo, thank you so much.
Episode.
Oh, it'd be the best. I mean, that's the dream. We're working on it. But Milo, thank you so much. This was incredible. You're doing a phenomenal job. Thank you for all you do for the community. I feel very confident speaking on behalf of all of SM64 runners and viewers. Sincerest thank you for all you do. You make the community better. We love the events. They're just the most fun. So keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks for saying that, guys. That's really, really nice. Yeah, I love what I do. I feel very, very lucky. That's something that I don't think I really touched on enough, is that like a big, and I don't even know how to quantify it, part of GSA story has just been the goodwill and the passion of Mario people. Obviously since we've been talking, this is a Baseball's podcast, which is about Mario, but of so many other communities, of so many volunteers, of people that donate, commentators that like get paid and then literally donate what they get paid to the charity. Like there's just endless examples of people that show like selflessness and passion and just like wanting to support what we do, because what we do supports the community. So really it's just love for speedrunning at the end of the day. That it just makes me feel incredibly lucky that like through people wanting to support their passion, they've supported us. So I just want to give a thank you for you guys. You guys are part of that with doing the podcasting, commentating, and just everything, how you're involved with the community as well. So I just think it's great. It's the thing I'm most proud to be a part of, is speedrunning. And yeah, I really look forward to continuing to do that.
I love it. Can't wait for future events.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, we're happy to contribute, but we put all of our eggs in this basket, so we kind of have to. We're committed at this point.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I gotta blow pace up more so that the SEO on YouTube, just like really starts going in your guys' favor, and
we're relying on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do what I can. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Milo.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on. It was a great chat. And yeah, just best of luck with the show. I'll be tuning in. Zeus, I'll see you in a few days, and Gio hopefully sometime soon too.
Next time. Pace fall.
Hell yeah.
Perfect. All right.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so
Thanks,
much.
Milo.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.